Worlds Beyond Number, the first big tabletop RPG project of 2023.
I'm making a note here, huge success.
As the ball dropped on the East Coast to signal the start of the new year, Aabria Iyengar, Brennan Lee Mulligan, Erika, Ishii, and Lou Wilson announced a major new tabletop project, Worlds Beyond Number. This project is described as a new narrative play audio fiction multiverse, which will be designed by Taylor Moore, the producer of D&D podcast Rude Tales of Magic. Now, Worlds Beyond Number is notable in that it is a creator-owned project by 4 of the biggest free agents in tabletop actual plays. Because of the caliber of the cast, comparisons to Critical Role is inevitable. After all, both are ensemble casts, both are independent and creator-owned, which means that the cast and crew will ultimately own the stories and characters that they use. However, there will likely be a few notable differences between Critical Role and this new Worlds Beyond Number project. For one, Worlds Beyond Number is described as a multiverse, meaning that there probably won't be a home setting like Exandria. However, there could still be ties that link together the various stories. We'll just have to wait and see what they mean by multiverse. Worlds Beyond Number also seems to be a cross-genre project, which increases the likelihood that they'll be using more than one game system. A long-running epic campaign might use something like Dungeons & Dragons, but a horror story might use something like 10 Candles, or Call of Cthulhu.
I am scared to death right now!
Shows will range from years-long cinematic epics to chaotic one-shots, so there's a lot of room for a bunch of different kinds of systems. At least initially, it appears that Worlds Beyond Number will focus on being a podcast. That means there probably won't be any Twitch streams or YouTube channels or anything like that. The podcast angle is interesting, is that it means that the fan base will be a bit more, let's say, curated. There won't be a live chat like in Critical Role. Although, there's going to be a Patreon, so there will probably still be some sort of community building aspect to it.
Producer Pete jumping in here for just a second to clarify that while Worlds Beyond Number is being presented as a podcast, given the fact that there will be a Patreon for the show and even teases of that content have talked about scenes from the first campaign, and especially given the performance backgrounds of Brennan, Aabria, Lou, and Erika, we'd be absolutely stunned if this podcast did not wind up with some form of streaming or video content shortly after launch. We should have more clarity once the Patreon goes live in February, but it would be shocking if someone wasn't at least recording these early sessions for video release later, because every single member of Worlds Beyond Number has proven they can bring in a big streaming audience for actual plays, and it would be a potentially huge revenue stream for this creator-owned content. And now,
Back to our show.
We should also stress that this is a creator-owned project. That means that the cast and crew will ultimately have control of whatever this project is. Now, we don't know the nature of Brennan's contract for appearing on other shows, but it's likely that Brennan, Aabria, Erika, and Lou were all employees that worked for someone else whenever they appeared on all of your favorite shows. Even Dimension 20, which many consider to be Brennan's home show, is ultimately owned by College Humor. Now, should College Humor ever go out of business, Brennan would either need to have some sort of deal in place that allows him to take over Dimension 20, or someone else would need to purchase the rights to the show. Otherwise, it could disappear forever. With Worlds Beyond Numbers, since Brennan, Aabria, and the rest of the cast own the show, that means that they are responsible for it. As long as they want it to keep going and they have the financial means to do so, the show will be theirs to do with as they please forever. Obviously, there's still a lot we don't know about Worlds Beyond Number. They just announced it a couple of days ago. However, they will be announcing the name of their first campaign next week, and every week this January, they will be dropping new teasers about the podcast and the upcoming campaign, and who knows, maybe they'll give us some more goodies too. But we will find out more when the Patreon launches in February, and we'll find out even more when the first episode debuts in March. If you want to keep up on Worlds Beyond Number and all of your other favorite tabletop RPG shows, be sure to hit those like and subscribe buttons. Doing so not only helps the show out, it's the easiest way to make sure that you never miss a tabletop and fantasy update.